Testing, testing. All right.
Yo, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you. So should I just restart the chat then? I mean,
I think you should invite everyone.
wait, hold on. I gotta stop streaming and then start continue, no?
I have no idea. I think we're live, man.
No, I don't see shit, man.
I see a live thing going here.
All right, listen. Yeah, either way, I'm gonna reload the YouTube.
You know what you should do, man?
Oh yeah, I
Just
see it
stop
now.
everything.
Now
Stop the
hold on.
streaming,
I
and
see
then
it
I,
there.
I start a new one.
Now
So
the
just
people are
go
saying
and stop.
that we're back. People are saying that we're back.
Oh, okay, we're back.
Yeah, sorry about the guys. Technical difficulties never happened before. The internet cut off, man. Just really disgusting what just happened here. So I'm gonna try to
All right.
send
So
people. Yeah,
yeah, you should invite everybody else, man. Hassan, Hamed,
should
and
we though?
Low Place.
Should we really invite them? Because you know what? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm inviting you guys. All right. What was missing low place here? Okay. Yeah. Again, sorry about that, guys. We had technical difficulties. We are back. I think we're back fully operational. I don't see anything wrong here, and we still have a couple of viewers. Although we lost a couple, but it's
Loyal
understandable.
viewers,
Was that?
loyal listeners.
Yeah, that's right. Loyal listeners that don't abandon us despite the technical difficulties that we encounter here at the Boxing Debate Arena. So yeah, I send the links to our usual panelists, and hopefully we'll hear from them. Meanwhile, where did we leave off, by the way?
We're talking about heavyweights,
Oh,
David Hay.
speaking of heavyweights, King Butcher, did you see Deontay Wilder was on what's his name, Brendan Schaub's show?
Oh yeah, I saw. I didn't see. I mean, I saw. I know he was there, but I don't want to see. I mean, Brendan Schaub is fucking annoying, in my opinion. His questions are ridiculous. I didn't watch the video. Did you see it?
Nope. I watched a little bit of it, but no, I didn't.
I don't feel like watching Schaub interview anyone, to be honest.
Yeah, and he likes to kiss ass as well.
Yeah. I think you're adding people right now, aren't you?
Listen, I sent them the links. I sent them the new link for the Hangout, so maybe they just left, man. I don't know. You tell me.
No, because we were chatting on Hangouts,
We
and
were
then
shouting.
I don't know why you weren't there because the Hangouts was still open. And we were chatting, and we were talking. So I don't know. Hopefully, they'll see your message.
Oh
And
no!
come
Wait a
back.
minute. That's the thing. When we went off the air, could you still hear? Because I was talking, I was saying testing. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if people actually heard me. Did you hear
No,
me?
I couldn't.
No,
No,
it was the
it
internet
could.
from. Oh, hello, please. How are you, man?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it was not letting any sound out, but it was still it did come back online, but it just I don't know what the issue was there.
It was from my end that things went awry. So,
If
but
it,
yeah.
if it, if your say if your computer shuts down or something,
Uh huh.
it can jump back on and you have to hit start hanging out live again. And if your microphone's still ready, maybe the mic was placed in another area, pointing in another area or something, but just like through the computer instead of going through what you normally do.
Yeah, I think it was the internet that went out. It wasn't the computer, so that was a
Yeah.
problem there. But anyway, we're back, and we were talking about the heavyweights. Well, if we're gonna start with you, you're the only one here. But what did you think about Baby Miller's performance last Saturday?
It says you're still not live though.
Was that?
Are you live now?
Yeah.
Well, it says up there in the corner that it's not. I didn't know. I thought you were gonna hit the call in a minute. Okay. Big Baby Miller. I didn't watch him. I was on a call with several different people, but I watched Beterbiev instead. But
Ah.
they were telling me he got the job done and he hurt the kid. He kept hurting the man, and they just felt like he needed to lose. He was actually 20 pounds lighter or something, but need to lose some more weight. So I picked. They were on simultaneously, but I picked Beterbiev to watch, so I didn't see much of that.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
I didn't see any of it.
he did what he had to do, man. He did what he had to do. He outworked what's his name, Wach. And but yeah, is he? I mean, do you fancy his chances against any of the top heavyweights like Wilder and Fury, or I mean Wilder and Joshua?
Well, judging by this, a lot of heavyweights have no charisma and they get shots, and I can name a few of 'em. I mean, I can't be no more upset than I was when I seen um what's the light skinned guy? What's his name getting a shot with Joshua, the tall guy, Brazil getting a
Oh yeah,
shot.
yeah.
I mean, how could I be any more upset when I seen the Polish guy Spilka getting a shot? You know, I mean, look, at least he brings some talk to the heavyweight division. Is a today it's ridiculous. It's horrible. The aesthetics of it is nasty. The thought of what's going on in there, just meat on top of meat on each other, is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
The pace at which they fight at times could be nasty. It is one of my best divisions to watch. I'll be honest about that, but I mean, it's up to them. Get in shape and come in and be ready to fight each other. But I mean, why not? If the other guys can get a shot, why not? I think he should fight. It's a guy over here, and they were gonna fight. This is no the Polish guy that knocked out Artur Spilka. He knocked the fuck out of Spilka. He punished him. Not only knockout where Spilka was winning the rounds like Wilder, but this dude, they call him the babyface something.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Kanowski is his name, I think. If
Oh yeah,
him
yeah,
and
yeah.
Jarrel Miller fought, it's not gonna look pretty. It's gonna look like two tubs of ice cream going at it, but that would be a war in my opinion. And they actually friends, so they were out for the fight,
Mm.
but both guys said this is chump change to fight your friend. You know how
Yeah,
that could go, but I would love to see that fight. That shit would be a pleasure to watch.
yeah. Dead vibes on the chat is saying the division is dead because no one is ready to take risks, and that's the thing. Listen, I understand if you don't want to fight your friend for pennies, but at the end of the day, you also have to look forward and make an investment and say, okay, I might not be getting paid what I want in this fight, but it adds to my resume. It builds up my fame or my reputation. And from then on, you can bank that into money. But just laying around and fighting nobodies, how is that a smart game plan to build up your career? That's what I'm wondering. Also, Lopez, I wanted to ask you,
They
moving
know they
on.
can get paid. They know they can get a paid TV viewing and hype around fighting bums because for whatever reason, this day and age, we just don't say, you know what, I'm not watching. And I'm about to start that. Like I was going to at least stream Frampton today. Nah, when I see blowout matchups and you had the opportunity to make a big fight, I'm done watching.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. I mean, I'll watch it the day after maybe if I have time, and I'll skip. If it's a blowout, I'll fast forward and everything. But I'm not gonna watch it live, knowing what the outcome is. I mean, sometimes, yeah, sometimes a guy can impress you and surprise you. That's why upsets happen. But for the most part, there's too many fights out there. Can't watch them all live, so I'm not gonna bother. I also wanted to ask you. We talked last week about Daniel Jacobs, and I remember I asked you guys about Jacobs, and you told me that whether he won impressively or not, you weren't gonna be too hyped up about Daniel Jacobs because he's supposed to win. At the end of the night, what did you think about Daniel Jacobs' performance against Luis Arias, and how do you see his standing in the middleweight division?
Yeah, Danny Jacobs brought about the concept that I just said. For a lot of these guys, if you pick the cherry pick, not watching you anymore, especially guys like him. You pick a cherry pick and this guy goes 12 rounds with you. You don't even put him on the floor correctly.
Uh huh.
Because the knockout was a basically a pull down behind the head and a punch behind the head. That's basically what it was.
Absolutely,
Now
yeah.
it wasn't it wasn't something that he meant to do. The guy just ducked the punch and he got caught right in the back of the head on the neck area and he got dropped. So he brought about that concept that I'm done watching you guys. I'm not being your rating anymore. I felt like I was forced to watch boxing instead of it being organic and boxing being what I love.
Uh huh.
I'm not anymore. So I was 100% unimpressed. I, ridiculous. You still don't have a great win and you still can't perform when remember cherry picking the one guy that knocked him down. Remember cherry picking Truex that went round after round. You
Oh
still
yeah, yeah,
doing
yeah.
this? You still can't. Nah. I can't rock with it no more. Nope. Crowds don't show up. It's empty spaces all around the arena. Forget that, man. I'm not forced to watch this no more. I was watching this because I wanted my picks to be right. I wanted
Uh-huh.
to study you for your next fight. No, that's not what boxing about. I'm supposed to watch to be entertained. I will not do that anymore.
You know what you said is precisely what I want to touch on that. But hold on, let me just because guys here are trying to join the chat and they can't. I mean, they're trying to join the conversation, but they can't do it in the usual fashion. So I have to take care of that first. And hold on. All right. So Hamed, are you there, man?
Yeah, I keep.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, I'm just sending a link to
okay.
Hamed. By the way, can you get Cachanelo's email so I can send him the link? Because the usual way in which we invite people isn't working right now. So I need people's emails.
Okay, one sec.
Please, yeah. So
nobody was impressed with Danny Jacobs.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But you know what,
Is that a
Lopez?
first? You know, like, is that a first? Like that? I mean, I'm like, it's your first time headlining HBO since I believe maybe the time you got knocked out on HBO or Golovkin invited you to the party and you still acted like a punk getting to the party. You wanted to take all Golovkin's money and shit. Like, all these things add up, and I start having a personal vendetta about how you ruined the sport of boxing for me because I love the sport, man. And when it's done right, there is no better sport. When you just let competition win out and let another man put his hands on another man
Mm-hmm.
and see who the bigger man is, hey, bragging rights can be had. Talking shit to the next man can be had. Like I'll go back to what Joshua, the comments of Joshua, and it made me think about something I tweeted just now. What I said. People are worried about the race thing, but I said, okay. And I'm gonna flip this and I'm gonna make it go both ways because this needs to be understood. Boxing is a bragging right thing. He went in that ring where he could have gotten murdered and killed by Klitschko, and he could have killed and murdered Klitschko, but he came out with the body and the bragging rights. So if he tells, let's just say Klitschko's German, right?
Yeah. Well,
No, he's not German. He's Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Let's just say that Joshua tells the 6'7" Ukrainian, I am superior to you. Well, in the mass scheme of things, he's probably superior to a 6-foot Ukrainian as well, just the average man. So that's what you got to accept.
Mm-hmm.
He showed you that. Now, me, on the other hand, I know Klitschko is superior to me, and I have to accept that. Like, you can't be mad about what he said. It's the damn truth. Learn to live with it. He went in there and he showed this Ukraine. Now they try to throw nooks and crannies into it. Well, he was talking about everybody, and I was like, well, actually, he was talking to this guy Eddie Chambers, in his thing, and he said, "I'm superior." He said, "What he say? You embarrass my superior race."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's joking. I don't know what he's saying, but he shows he's a superior person. That's why I can rock with people like that. People that get in there and prove it the right way, and then you can say whatever the hell you want after. Because that's what it's about. Boxing ain't supposed to be what would I want to call it? What's the Charles Barkley commercial? I'm not a role model. It's not supposed to be your role model. It's supposed to be a brutal sport where you look at these guys for brutal entertainment, and then after that you kind of turn it off because you understand they take some punches to the head and they might not say the right thing very much.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And there's somebody in the comment section, Dead Vibes, is saying, well said, man. He says your own point. And you said something interesting that I wanted to touch on, that you said before, was when there's a mismatch or something like that, you don't watch it anymore. And I think that's something that more boxing fans should do. When a fight is on pay-per-view and it shouldn't be there, we should talk with our pockets, protest with our pockets, and say, we're not going to watch this fight. Let the fight get 50,000 pay-per-view buys and let it bomb, and that way maybe these promoters will realize that we're not, we're boxing junkies, but we're not going to pay for a bad product, especially if it's even crack addicts don't want to buy bad batch. Well, actually, no, that's a bad example. They'll pay for anything. But you know what I'm saying? It's we should start having higher standards, because that's how boxing promoters see us. They see us as a bunch of fiends. We'll buy whatever they sell. If it's a mismatch, we'll watch it. Canelo against a bomb, they probably think they can pull that off at some point on Cinco de Mayo or something. But no, it's got to stop at some point. And that's the other thing that you said was true, which was these fighters. Listen, I don't like Andre Ward's personality. I've said that many times here on the podcast. However, when people say, "Oh, he sucked, he wasn't good, he was overrated," I still defend the guy because whether you like him or not, he beat everybody in the super middleweight division. He
No,
beat Chad Dawson. Was that?
Okay, go ahead. Go on.
He beat
I,
who?
I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't think he's dominant. I don't think nothing about Andre Ward. I don't like his personality. I don't like people that like him. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like somebody. Get me somebody else any day of the week.
Well, that's fine, but
Give
he
me
does prove your
fighters.
point, which is that he's fought everybody, and at some point you judge who he fought and not who he is outside of the ring. You know what I'm saying?
What did he fight him? See, that's another thing. It
Wait,
has to be
can
full
I
circle. Go ahead.
can
Go
I
ahead.
ask a question? Can I ask a question? Because you made a good point about not watching fights mismatches. I agree.
Right.
I rarely open pay-per-views, and I've got to that level where I now don't because I'm in Britain and we watch because the British boxing scene is a lot of mismatches happen on TV. Like the whole matchroom shows, if they're not on pay-per-view, they mismatches. But was majority of the time when they're on pay-per-view, they mismatches. But I was gonna see, so not all fights could be 50-50. What type of fights would you warrant?
Yeah.
Do you think that deserves to be watched? Like, say if it's
Well,
a 60-40 or a 65-35.
I do you one better. I do you one better. I'm gonna look for the guys who have put themselves out there to try to be something. All right.
Uh-huh.
And if they're in a mismatch, I
So
probably
what?
still watch
So
it. I'm gonna judge
so
them for their actions. The
what
fact
about
that
Arias and sorry, I'm never meant to cut you off, but what about Arias and Jacobs? Oh, did you
well,
bother watching that?
no, see, I did, and that's the fight that brought me to that. That's the fight that brought me to that. Danny Jacobs isn't getting another watch if he fights another audience. If he gets another, he's not getting it. If he fights three in a row, I won't see him three times in a row. Because in my
Mm,
opinion, in his career, he never, ever, except for one time in his life, well, two times, and he failed both
Two
times. Tried
times.
to be great. So he's never tried to be great except two times. He failed both times. All right. So
No,
so
he did
why
fight
am I?
Peter
He's
Quinn,
not
and
the best in the world.
I mean, he did fight Peter
yeah,
Quinn. Well,
yeah,
I
I
know he was.
agree. I
No,
agree.
yeah, he was overrated, but he was ranked as a top middleweight.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
and
So
I
that's
agree.
horrible
I agree.
ranking.
That was one round, so I give him credit. But what I was trying to say was that Jacobs fight. My thoughts on it, I wasn't too impressed. I think Golovkin now maybe that win doesn't look that good. I know people will say like he won every round against Arias, but my point is this: if you have 20-30 pounds over someone who's that small, and I mean Arias, I don't think is that much better than. I don't think he's better than Curtis Stevens. I don't think he's better than Willie Monroe Jr. He's on that level. I think Steve Kim made a good point. He was the type of guy who knew how to survive. But if Jacobs is as heavy-handed as they say he is, and the way people made it out after the Golovkin fight, he should have been able to stop Arias. I think I wasn't too impressed with that performance with Jacobs. I thought it was a boring fight. Got the job done. You should be knocking out guys who are 20, 30,
Yeah,
25 pounds smaller than
yeah.
you.
yeah, look,
And,
listen, Arias knows how to survive, and Jacobs needs to know how to kill, like
but you
Golovkin
picked
does.
them. You picked them. You picked them. I mean, that's your pick. You literally, when they told you to pick the easiest thing that you wanted to do, you picked this guy, like you said, 20 pounds. You look like you're 20 pounds heavier than. You looked in two or
Maybe,
three different
maybe,
weight classes.
maybe
Forget
more.
him,
Maybe
man.
25 or 30 pounds. I'm not too sure. The official, I think it's about 25 or 20 pounds. But
I think go ahead. No, go ahead.
another thing is the middleweight division looks bad. I mean, who has really Golovkin beaten? I don't want to hate on Golovkin.
Oh,
Like
come
I
on.
am a fan, but I mean, if Jacobs is your best win and they seen he's the greatest middleweight or whatever, top 5, 6. I mean, that looks quite bad, and
Yeah, it does.
I'm not gonna.
Golovkin destroys guys like Arias. Golovkin
No, no,
destroys
no.
guys like Arias. That's not.
That's
But
true, but
the
you
thing would
should
be
be
different.
destroying.
The thing
But
would
you
be different if Golovkin went in and completely beat the crap out of Jacobs and changed his career forever and injured him. And we really couldn't talk like that because hey, you know what I'm saying? The breakdown of Danny Jacobs led to this 12-round bore fest. Golovkin beat too
no,
much.
but
That didn't
another.
happen.
I
That didn't
agree.
happen.
I agree. But another thing is, the first half decent guy Golovkin fought, and Jacobs kind of took him a tough fight. I thought there's a couple of points in here. I thought Golovkin probably won 7-5. I think I had a 6-6. I could see why some had a 8-4, but I mean, Golovkin with that fight, I wouldn't be too thing. I think Jacobs was at his best, but I mean, Jacobs is not as good as people are making out. Like, I agree. Some people are saying Jacobs was he's the second best middleweight and that. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't think he's that good until he's fought Canelo, Lemieux, and these guys are beating him. But then again, I don't really rate Lemieux that high as well. I think the only guy that I think that Golovkin has fought that I'd give him probably his best opponent was Canelo, but he didn't get the decision. I agree. I thought he did win, but I don't think Jacobs is that good. And I mean, the way some of Golovkin's fans and some of the media have made it out to be, I don't want to sound like a critic or a big hater, but like it looks quite bad because Jacobs is not that good. Like against Arias as well, like Arias should never have been in the ring with Jacobs, I thought, and
Facts.
Jacobs couldn't get rid of him. And I mean, Jacobs now it leaves a stain on Golovkin's resume because he came really close to losing to Jacobs, and Jacobs.
Well,
No, well, it was close. Well, he did. It was his closest fight. I thought that was much closer than the Canelo fight, and I thought that was if I had to choose one fight to be a draw, I'd say Jacobs probably deserved more. But because he got dropped, I don't think he deserved to get a draw. He did lose. I thought Golovkin did beat him, but I think Golovkin. I think his resume and that like it kind of shows the whole middleweight division is a weak division. I mean, Arias and
It is.
guys like that build up. I think there's only about two or three, maybe, apart from Golovkin, maybe two good fighters, and that's probably two or three. Saunders, maybe Jacobs and Lemieux, and
What
I mean, sorry, sir, Canelo,
what happened
Jacobs, and
needed to happen though. What happened needed to happen. You needed
what?
guys from
Mm,
54 to step up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they did it. They did, and
But
it could
another
be
thing
more
is,
fun, but they ain't proven yet. There,
I don't really rate Lemieux that high as well. I when the fight got made, I was picking Lemieux. I thought it's a close fight. I'm kind of feeling the other way. I think Saunders might win this. If Saunders at his best turns up, I could see maybe Saunders winning by split decision. I could see Saunders winning, but Lemieux getting the decision. But I'm not gonna lie, the middleweight division is a weak division, and I mean only Golovkin fans and really big hardcore Golovkin fans are gonna say it's a strong division. It's not really a good division. I mean the only guy who's apart from the top four, I'd say that's coming through is the Ukrainian guy Derevchenko. But apart from that, it's just is a lot of 140, 54 pounders that are moved up. I don't think it's a good division. I don't think it's much better than the heavyweight division. Maybe it's a bit better, but I mean, the heavyweight division might be better, and the heavyweight
no.
division I don't think is that good.
I think the heavyweight division was better before the 54 pounders moved up. But I mean, they're not fighting each other. The 54 pounders make it interesting,
Who like
but
who?
I rank
Chalu.
divisions. I rank divisions like maybe like my last time was a year and a half ago. And I just say it was before the 54 guys moved up. And I honestly thought that this was right there in line with Crawford at 140. It wasn't that good. I actually put 140 over it because
No,
at
I
least
don't.
you
I
had
don't think.
Matisse.
No, I don't
You
think.
did
I
have
don't think.
Matisse. Let me
But
tell you, let me tell you why I put it over it.
Matisse was a shot born. He was been in
Yeah,
wars.
yeah. Well, let me tell you, it was other people there. It was you had two division champion Rancis Bartholomew there. You had Relic, who had beat up on Burns, in my opinion, and they fought each other. You had Postal, undefeated. I thought it was a little bit better. I didn't think it was
But
head over heels better, but it was middleweight was pretty far down there. I had ranked 22 worse than middleweight. Other than that,
okay,
everything
okay.
rank
So
I didn't rank
are you
18.
talking about? Are you talking about the
No.
middleweight division when Golovkin was fighting Lemieux like that type a couple of years ago? Not now.
It's about a year and a half ago. Yeah, it was Eubank Jr. was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Billy
Yeah,
Joe
yeah, I
was
agree.
there. They
Actually,
were there.
yeah, I think I could agree. Yeah, it's been a pretty weak division. I think the heavyweight's better. I still put the heavyweight division better because I mean, if you compare the top four of the heavyweight division, you got Joshua Wilder, Fury and maybe Parker or Ortiz or Povetkin, whatever order you put the top five in. With the middleweight, I think there's Golovkin and the head and shoulders above the rest, and then you got Jacobs, maybe who's at the moment I'd put him number two, but then and Canelo there, but then the rest are not really that good, and they're not really strong. I don't think the top
Saunders,
maybe,
Charlo,
but I don't think they're that strong.
Derevchenko.
I mean, if you put him up against Wilder, Fury, Parker, Ortiz,
Well,
Povetkin, I think
Parker,
that's
why are you so, okay? But why is Parker so like a a
no, but
solid
he's a
top
champion.
four?
At least Parker.
Oh,
He's a
please.
champion.
Okay, well, Saunders is a
Parker took
champion.
boxing.
Billy Johnson is a champion.
No, but is there much any difference? And Parker's probably the weakest out of the five, and Saunders is maybe the third or fourth best middleweight at the moment.
Parker's
And
got a nice
what has
resume.
Wilder done though? What about Wilder? Well, why? Like, do you think he has more skills than Saunders?
I rate Wilder maybe higher than Jacobs in terms of power.
What in terms of what of power?
Okay, one sec.
I agree.
Wilder,
I
all right.
agree.
Yeah, no, I'm
Wilder
confused,
over
man.
Jacobs.
Wilder,
Wilder over Jacobs. I
I think Wilder's a
Huh.
stronger number two. Maybe Wilder might be number one if he beats Joshua. Obviously,
Oh yeah, if he beats him, but right now he's what?
Bucho, check your
number
messages,
two in
man.
your opinion?
Bucho, check your messages, man.
Okay, hold on.
I feel like Jacob Wilder at least goes in there and train wrecks people. You know, I mean, it doesn't look pretty. And Jacobs don't look pretty either. If we're being honest, I mean, he threw a lot of slaps. He was ugly in that ring. Everything was 100%. I agree, man. Heavyweight is the only division. I mean, heavyweight is a division over middleweight, and the only division, if you stop ranking at 122 and don't rank 18, 15, 12 or below, heavyweight is, I mean, excuse me, middleweight is in the bottom of the barrel somewhere. And I think 22 at that point in time was definitely the only thing under it. If you want to rank them now, um, I think heavyweight's better. I think cruiserweight's better. Like heavyweight is better. 168 may be an argument there. It's better than 168. I'm going to say that. Is it? Ahmed, you there?
Hamed, are you there? I think he's. I don't know. I think he's gone, man.
Yeah, he
lost
was
Hamed.
muted and then he unmuted.
Oh, I don't know. He's gone.
Yeah, I just realized
Yeah,
that. Yeah, he's not there, man. What the hell?
Why are you complaining? BDA, I can see the stream and I can see the chat. Everything's working.
That
so-
chat is moving.
Yeah.
No, what's the last thing that's written on the chat?
Oh, it's true. It says you were gonna say Vitaly. Yeah, you're right. You have to update the link.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
chat link.
All right. So you guys talk, but can I change it now, live, or?
Yeah, you can change it live.
All right. So you guys
Just
talk.
change the link.
Okay, you guys talk. I'll take care of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, you think 168 is better than 160 right now? I think it's debatable.
No, I said 160. 160 is better than. Oh no! Wait, what are we talking about?
168 or 160. If we go 168, we got Groves, DeGale, Eubank.
I think 160 is better and it's more interesting
Yeah.
because you have 154 pounders moving up. I like listen, Charlo. I haven't seen him at 160 to be honest because that his last fight against Hayland. I mean, the guy had one leg, and so listen. I want to see more of Charlo at 160, and then if he impresses me, then the division just got even better. You know?
Agree. I think I agree there too, especially with the move ups. So that I mean, I says over 60, then you got 54, 60. 54 is interesting, but people are not buying. I think 60 got more potential than 54 right now. It didn't a year ago, and now today it does. 60 definitely is not better than 147. It's better
No,
than
no.
140. It's better than 140.
And I
It's
think you're
better
gonna
than
see.
one.
I think you're gonna see more 154 pounders moving up to 160 because that's where the money's gonna be at.
Yeah. So I mean, if it gets fun, finally, but I think what happened was like I was saying, HBO was able to sell us. HBO gave Triple G like 3 dates sometime. They gave him 4 dates other time. And when you see networks doing that, They're hyping, they're hyping, they're hyping. And boxing fans didn't realize, yo, they're hyping something in one of the worst divisions ever. And they hoping that Canelo will come back and then come fight him at that division. And that could bring some life. Now, they were right in the long run, but man, Triple G's resume up until 35 years old, that was pretty bad in my opinion.
What do you mean bad?
Well, just you fighting Willie Monroe. Willie Monroe was fighting on ESPN Boxino. I don't know if you know what that is,
Yeah, I remember.
but they tried to sell the people that. They sold the people what's his name? The guy that was on parole from Maryland with the ankle bracelets on.
Kirkland.
No, no, no,
I
no,
don't know.
not
I
Kirk.
don't know. Wade.
Wait, they tried to sell
Yeah.
the people that, and people bought it. Like people just were watching. I'm like, yo,
No, that was some shit fight. I agree. But
yeah, I'm
listen,
I'm like, yo,
Golovkin did what he had to do. Who did you want him to fight?
yeah,
He wanted
yeah,
to
I
fight
get it.
Sergio Martinez. You know the politics, how it happened. Like,
I get it. But in that time, what I'm not blaming Golovkin. He did what
okay,
he had to
okay.
do every time. I'm not blaming him. But at the same time, I'm blaming his promoter and the network for making the people just sit through that and say, yo, this is the best in the world. This is best boxing got to offer.
But listen, low place.
And that's where
Canelo in the chat is saying, tell low place Triple G fought nothing but top 10 opponents.
yeah, but we're talking about divisions. We get it. We get it. They had what's the Mexican ranked top 10? We get
Rubio?
that. Rubio was ranked top 10. And
Yeah.
that's the sad thing about this division.
Well,
People are
listen,
trying to tell
I
you.
don't want to go back to Tony Stevenson, but that's what you keep talking about. I mean, that's one of your arguments about Tony Stevenson's
Yeah,
greatness.
yeah, yeah. And
He's fighting
and
top
that's where
contenders.
I try to get people to understand that he's fought the number one man, and his top contenders were Bellews, who went on to more success. Like Rubio, you don't know where he's at. Lemieux, Lemieux, what's my guy at 68 that went to 11 rounds? He went to Martin Mary went to 68 and couldn't win. So like these guys don't progress. They don't show anything better.
Okay, Martin Murray couldn't win against who at 168?
Groves, he couldn't beat
Okay,
Groves.
Groves. Okay,
He got
Groves.
dominated.
Yeah, I agree.
He
Okay,
can't.
Tony Bellew moves to cruiserweight and he fights that African guy who nobody knows about and wins a fucking title.
Yeah, he's much better.
Yeah,
He's damn good
but
opponent too.
I think Groves is better known and he's a better fighter. That's why he's better known than that
But did
African
you
dude.
not
I
see that
forget his
guy?
name.
Did you not see that guy stretch Bellew out to the point you thought Bellew wasn't getting up because he's
That
capable of
doesn't matter. That's because Bellew it's not that good and he got
it.
dropped.
I mean, he did something like it's not many guys jumping 25 pounds winning titles. It's not many that I believe that could do it in the crew in the 175
He's
pound
six foot
division
three.
right
He's
now.
6'3". He's 6'3".
Yeah, yeah, but
He
still that's a jump that
I know. I
you have to
agree.
factor in. And now he's winning like he's gonna beat David Hay again. Like I know he's gonna beat David Hay again. And he's
Because
gonna
David
mess
Hayes
up a lot of
shot.
money because
Not
Joshua Hay.
because okay, you cannot tell me that Tony Bellew beat Hay because he's just a better boxer overall.
I can say this in the early parts of that fight, he was getting off on David Hay. David Hay
He was
came.
faster. I agree. Yeah.
David Hay. Now, people didn't even think that was going
Okay.
to happen. What they thought was going to happen was Hay was going to blow him out the water. Nope, Bellew won the early rounds. Now, Hay got aggressive. Hay got aggressive, but this was never his plan to have to get aggressive in the sixth or seventh round or something like that. He wasn't built to last those kind of rounds. He was built to be destructive early, but he couldn't be destructive early because the better boxer outboxed him, and then his body gave up on him, and he got not only beat but knocked out. See, so it's his issue that he wants to be so heavy. You can't fight that heavy in the ring. You can't do that. Your body
I
you
agree.
have to get into fighting shape, or you can't blame the next man for your L. He didn't cherry pick you. He didn't like bring you in when you weren't ready. Like you made the fight. David Hay is notoriously hard to deal with, so we know he made the fight, and he came in ready as he was gonna be, and he got beat. He got stopped.
Yeah,
So
but
I
how did
give
he get
But why
beat
did he
though?
get
big credit.
stopped? Why did he get stopped though? Was it something Tony Bellew did?
Yeah, he knocked him out the ring.
No, but what? Okay, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. Like David
like
Hay,
I,
he self-destructed.
like I'm saying though, he was like, listen to what I'm saying. He
Okay,
was losing the early rounds. That being hate.
I agree.
Okay,
No, I
he
agree.
thought
He was.
he was going to go in there and I'm the big strong man. I'm going to hit him once, twice left, and he's out of there. Tony Bellew even feared that. But when that didn't happen, he had to go to plan B. When a guy makes you go to plan B and plan C, he's already defeated something in you.
I think David K was too heavy, and that was his fault, and he miscalculated
He's going to do it again.
that. Okay, but I think you're giving a little bit too much credit to Tony Bellew. So you can support your argument. So it supports your argument that Stevenson is this great fighter who beat a guy.
Well, okay, all right. Well, we'll do it like this. We'll talk about the win at cruiserweight, and we can bring in Martin Mary. We can bring in Martin Mary for the comparison.
Okay, as a comparative example. Okay, analysis. Yeah, good.
Okay, let's bring this in. Okay, we'll talk about the cruiserweight win.
Okay.
Makabu, dangerous puncher at one at cruiserweight. He's shown this. Been in some wars itself. Been in some nasty looking fights. Then you got him, and he's about to fight I think Duradola next, and I'm telling you, he's likely gonna knock Duradola out, but it's gonna be a beautiful fight more than likely. He's beating guys like Tabiso Machuno, who my boy was struggling with, Usyk was struggling with live on HBO. Okay. Now Tony Bellew goes up there, a prohibitive underdog, just not supposed to win the fight. This guy's supposed to walk out with a new WBC title, and he's supposed to knock him out. He even goes to Liverpool to say, I'm going to knock you out of your hometown. Bellew gets off the ground, puts the man on the ground. Okay, that has to be talked about. That's a 25 weight pound. You already been stopped at 175. Cruiserweights are supposed to know I'm stopping your ass too. He went up there and knocked the guy out in 3 rounds. Now compare this to Martin Mary.
Okay.
Martin Mary fought who at 168? And he said, I almost won.
Groves.
Who was that?
You said was it Groves?
No. He lost easily to Groves, but he fought for the title at 168. I'm comparing how their wins move up in class compared to, who was it that he fought?
No, that's what I'm looking at. I don't know. I don't remember.
168. Oh my God.
How many fights did he have at 168?
He fought Arthur Abraham. Okay. And he said, I almost won. Arthur Abraham now, the person that everybody's walking through these days. And he goes up there and he complains of, I should have got the decision. I almost won. I got robbed by Abraham. Come on, man. That like if you're good, you take care of Abraham. Easily. You get that out the way.
Is Arthur Abraham at the same level as what's the African guy's name? I forgot.
No. Abraham is way under that level.
Level? Are you serious? Arthur Abraham.
Yeah. For the last
established
year,
160 pounder and 168 pounder who competed in the tournament, the Super 6
but
tournament.
You got to see where they at.
He has a bigger history than that guy that, to be honest, I don't remember his name. This African cruiserweight that we don't know about.
Where are they at in time? Where is it? Put him in his time.
Okay.
Understand the next fight, Martin Mary lost. Not Martin Mary, but Abraham lost every single round to Ramirez. And nobody ranks Ramirez. He came out and got his face jabbed off and barely threw punches over here in the States. He was not a dominant fighter at this time. He wasn't meant to be one. It's just the fact that Martin Mary is a struggle fighter. I call him Martin Almost Mary.
Well, let me jump in here and say something.
Do you remember Martin Murray against that lineal middleweight champion fight?
Yes, where he almost beat a cripple. Once again.
Well, Tony Bellew did the same thing.
He was
Tony
crippled.
Bellew
in Argentina. A guy goes to Argentina, beats the lineal champion, and gets robbed.
Did he beat him, or was it a close fight? Once again,
I thought he beat him. He was a robbery, in my opinion.
But here's the thing: you guys are saying, hold on, you guys are saying that. Hold on, you guys are saying, well, Martinez was a cripple, but so was David Hay when Tony Bellew fought him. So,
absolutely, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You're showing it. That's what you do to a cripple. You stop him, just like Charlo. See, Charlo, the guy with the bad leg, it would have looked horrible if that guy goes 12 rounds. If you're a great fighter and you see a man with a walking limping duck in front of you, you duck hunt, man. You got to blast them out. And my thing about Martin Mary, you have all these opportunities and you can only come away with almost. It's not about Martin Mary. It's just we're talking about GGG's resume.
Was Martinez?
We know he hasn't fought world-class opponents until Canelo or Jacobs, if you want to call it that. But then he had the opportunity to blast them out as well, and it did not happen for him.
But Martinez
So
wasn't
I
as
mean,
crippled as David Hay, man.
he was. He had broken hands, bad busted knee. He had a busted knee in the fight. It's raining inside the
Dude,
ring.
he was moving.
Busted hands, and he comes back and he's beating you up
Well, first of all,
in
he
the
wasn't
later
beating
rounds.
Murray up, man. Come on, no, see, you're making things up. He wasn't beating Murray up during that fight. If
He,
anything,
he
Murray
was
did a
taking the
very good job
rounds, bro.
blocking
He was
shots.
taking the rounds.
He was what?
He was taking the later rounds.
Okay, but that doesn't.
That's how he stayed in the fight, the later rounds.
Okay, that's far from being beat up, man. Come on.
Yeah,
I
what's
mean,
up,
but when
Albert?
it's a cripple and he's still putting hands on you, man, I gotta call it what it is. Something wrong is going on here. Like you just can't. I mean, y'all give me the grade on Martin Murray. Y'all can give me your grade on Martin Murray. We could just agree to disagree.
Yeah,
But I
guess.
think Martin almost Murray is one of the guys that has had opportunity after opportunity, and he only comes away with
Okay,
almost.
so you chose Martin Murray to be compared with Tony Bellew, right?
Yeah, if you want to pick anybody else, we can. Pick anybody else, we can.
But hold on, hold
Let's
on.
see.
I
Let's
just
see.
want to
Von
say.
Fire.
I just
Von
want to say
Fire getting
something. I
knocked out
want to
by
say
a
something
construction
here. I want
worker.
to say. I want to
What's
say
his name
something here.
again?
Kimbucho, I
Smith.
want to say something.
That
I
same
want to say
construction
something
worker
here
knocked out Bernard
because we gotta
Hopkins when
clear this
Kovalev
up,
couldn't.
man.
But I mean, I'll
Bernard,
give you this.
no,
Can
please.
you guys hear me, by the way,
Jesus
or am I just
Christ,
talking?
I'll give you this.
Hopkins.
Hold on.
Bernard Hopkins,
Can I
15
just
I'll
say
give you
yards.
this.
something
That
here,
same construction worker also
guys?
wobbled
Guys, guys,
Sullivan
guys, guys.
Barrera early in that fight. That
We
same
need a
construction
little order here.
worker
We need a little
almost.
order here, guys. Come on, we can't be talking at the same time. First of all, let's put it into perspective. Because we're going down, we're doing what boxing fans always do, and we're nitpicking and we're going way too deep into a certain subject. Martin Murray, he was fighting Sergio Martinez. First of all, I don't think Martinez was as crippled as David Hay. There's a big difference between having bad knees, but he was still able to move around the ring, and having a torn Achilles tendon. That's number one. However, I will say, in my mind, Martin Murray and Tony Bellew, I think they're at the same level, and I think if you can find ways to discredit the guy's win, and you can find ways to credit him. I credit Tony Bellew against in the David Hay fight because he had good defense, and that defense allowed him to make Hay miss, and that's how Hay screwed his Achilles tendon. That's not Bellew's fault. That's Hay's fault.
He's too heavy, man.
But number two,
Yep.
when it
Yep.
came to Martin
Not
Murray,
very good defense.
we also have to put fights into context because yes, Arthur Abraham sucks now, and I think Martin Murray has slowed down from what was it 4 years ago when he fought Sergio Martinez, and also you put Martin Murray in the context of 2011, 2012, 2013. He had gone the distance against Felix Sturm. He was robbed in that fight. Then he goes the distance against Martinez, drops him, really put up a great fight, very close in Argentina. And then Golovkin goes on and beats him up. So I think we got to give Golovkin credit. Yes, Martin Murray and Tony Bellew aren't world beaters. But the way, these guys beat or are beaten, that's what it's all about. It's all about what happens in the ring. And yes, we take context into consideration. But at the end of the day, is what happens in the ring. That's my opinion.
Yeah, what we were saying. All we were arguing is that the middleweight division. What I was telling them, the blowouts was what HBO was selling
Oh, yeah.
4 times a year from Golovkin, and that's why I want to stop watching blowout fights. Like Golovkin hadn't proven himself to me, and I was watching him 4 times a year in fights I didn't want to see him in, and there was
Can I say
instances
something? One
where.
sec.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I got cut off. I had a phone call from my brother. So, but yeah, let me just say one thing about Golovkin. I think you gotta, you can't give someone credit and then discredit Golovkin for. I think you said on the last podcast that Adonis, you don't want to blame him for fair enough. Like for some of his opponents, he couldn't fight, whatever, blah blah. But you said he was still active and Ward was inactive for 2 years. But Golovkin had the same issue. If you remember from 2013 to 2015 or somewhere like that, where a lot of people
Yeah,
were
but
ducking him.
my issue isn't that Golovkin was
But
active. I'm talking about HBO giving that. I'm talking about HBO messing up boxing, saying here's four mismatches. Okay, that's all I'm talking about. Talking about them starting high. I wish everybody would fight 4 times a year. My issue is not with that he's staying active. Just I wanted HBO to stop telling people we put on a mismatch and we call it pound for pound greatness, and then they try to do it with Danny Jacobs again, and he goes in there and does 12 rounds. If they just quit fooling the people and start putting on good fights and making fighters do what they're
Yeah,
supposed to do,
but
entertain
it's
us,
not.
we'll be a better sport.
I understand what you're saying, but look how bad it is over here. We have to put up with mismatches on pay-per-view. I know, obviously, it's that choice. I don't really buy the pay-per-views, but
Oh,
how many gullible people that have bought all these? Look at this,
which
Joshua.
one is the last one you bought? Which one's the last one you bought? And I'll give you some bad over here. I'll use your guy, Liam Williams.
Wait,
No, 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 no,
let me just
no.
say so.
Liam Smith versus
Let me
Canelo.
finish. Let me finish. Look, Joshua Martin was on pay per view. Joshua Brazil was on pay per view. All right, fair enough. Josh was a pay per view star, but I mean, you had fights like Bellew Cleverly on pay per view. Harrison, Audley Harrison, David Hay. You've had fights like Brooke and Frankie Gavin. These are not pay per view fights. I'm not.
Ahmed, you
Okay.
want to complain? You guys want to complain? I live in fucking Quebec, Canada. Every single Adonis Stevenson fight, even the ones that you on the US or on NBC, they were pay per view over here.
No, but
Yep,
what I'm
he's
trying,
not
yeah, I
lying.
That's
understand.
fucking disgusting, man.
But what I'm
He's
trying
not
to say
lying. He
is,
sure was. He sure
what I'm trying to
was.
say, they tried selling those pay per views over here on Sky with all these countdown shows, relentless. With I don't think the hype over there is with boxing that big, like in America
Well,
and
think about
Canada.
this.
But
Angulo Canelo,
no,
Canelo Liam Smith. We can go
but
and
that's
we pay.
Canelo is a
I
pay per view
understand.
star.
Hold on. We pay $70 or don't watch. Koto,
But
Koto versus.
but your coverage is much better than the Sky
No, we don't care
British.
about coverage. We
Is
don't
much
care
better.
about coverage. We care
The
about the
com
What
fight.
the
coverage? Nobody
commentary
cares
is
about
much
the
better.
undercard.
The commentary is much better. The production is much better. The presentation
Who
is much better.
cares? Who cares?
But
Who cares?
$70 is about 30, 40 pounds. It's
Do
probably
you
about
know
10.
was it Golovkin versus Lemieux? Lemieux. Like
That
why are we
wasn't the
paying for
worst.
Lemieux?
That wasn't the worst pay per view. I thought maybe the Jacobs fight
I mean, we had to
more.
pay for a Lemieux that they don't even sell here in the States. That is bad, bruh. That's why only like 90,000 people, 100 and some, that shit's bad. They know
Yeah,
it's bad.
the
That was a
all
gamble
right,
from HBO.
but this is the whole the question was I mean you were saying that all these HBO tried selling them, but how many of those fights were really on pay per view? Canelo was a pay per view fight,
Yeah, but
and
HBO we have to pay
wait
for it.
one sec. Let me finish. At least one more fight. I think either Jacobs or Lemieux you could have put on pay per view. Maybe not both, but I think maybe the Jacobs fight because he was fighting the guy at the time was ranked number two, so
Mhm.
maybe two of those fights were pay per view. Maybe not three, but that's only two fights. And
Yeah,
Golovkin is not really a pay per view star. But I mean, I don't think Joshua was a pay per view star back when he was fighting Dillian White and Dominic Brazil. Maybe after the Klitschko fight, and the Klitschko fight was so big, now he's a pay per view star. I understand the Takam fight; they had to put on pay per view because they're saying wherever he fights from now on, he's a pay per view star. But 2 years ago, I don't think Joshua was a pay per view star. I mean, he fought Kevin Johnson, and that was kind of the main part of the pay per view card. And I mean, that's not really a pay per view main event or a headliner. So I don't. I think
the
it's worse
the
over here.
fundamental difference you're missing one fundamental difference. You're missing how quickly they done it. Like Joshua quickly got to it and like 19 fights. I don't know the record right now. I think 18 fights. Vladimir
2020.
Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko was a body. So they have not wronged you with Anthony Joshua. They
No,
actually
no,
did
no.
you
I
right.
know, but what they done with Joshua wasn't much different from what they done with Golovkin. With Joshua, they're hyping him up.
What? Are you
With
serious?
Scott, with Joshua, it's just from the beginning of his career. With Golovkin, I think the HBO
Are
started a
you
bit late.
serious? Are you serious? When they okay, I'm gonna give you the names that were on the pound for pound list. Manny Pacquiao, excuse me, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Andre Ward, Vladimir Klitschko. I'm gonna tell you the significant difference.
What we
Andre
talking?
Ward, hold on,
I
hold
was
on.
talking about.
I am too. I am too. Joshua took on that name that was on that list forever.
No, but
Golovkin,
I
yeah,
was
let
talking
me tell you
about.
the fundamental difference though. See, the fundamental difference is when they told Golovkin to fight Ward, he wouldn't even negotiate. His trainer came out and told you, why the fuck would we fight Lara or Ward? Dominic
No, no,
Wade's
no,
a
no.
bigger name.
I
They
was
wrong
talking.
us over here.
I was talking about thing. You were saying how they built him up. Well, how they built Joshua up fighting like
Was
cans was.
undercards.
No, 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 no. What I'm trying to say, the guys he was fighting, well, the cans he was fighting weren't probably any different from the guys that Golovkin
They
was
shouldn't
fighting.
have been. They
No,
shouldn't
no,
have been.
bro.
He had 12 fights. You're right. He
No, no,
won a
bro.
title.
I'm trying.
How many fights? How
But
many
no,
fights did he
no.
win his title with?
I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say. You said the way they built him up. I understand they were building him up, but I wasn't really too mad. Like they poured him 4 or 5 times a year, Joshua, and they quickly built him up into a star, which was good work. I'm not criticizing not
That's the
that,
right thing to do.
but
He
but
was he was
but
early in his career, and they
what?
put him in there.
Yeah, but
And
what
let's be honest,
difference?
it's the heavyweight division. Dominic Brazil can beat you any given night. Okay, in my
No, but
opinion.
what difference? What difference is that from Golovkin in a really weak division? The middleweight
No, no,
division is
no. It's a
worse.
huge difference, and it's a huge one. The man had 14 fights with a title around his waist. Golovkin was reaching 35 years old, and we were
Yeah,
being
but doesn't
told
that say more
no
about the
to
division
fight.
than Golovkin? Doesn't that say more about the division?
What you mean?
Is or doesn't that say how bad the division is? Not the guys he's fighting. It's just the
You
whole
know,
division is really bad.
it's worse than just inside the division. You had It's worse than just inside the division. You had Golovkin saying, "I'll fight Floyd Mayweather." Floyd's not giving you the fight. Don't even talk about that. He's not going to 160 to appease you, or he's not going to do whatever you want to do. And then you got guys like Lara asking for a fight. Whether you think he win, lose, or whatever the case may be, he's a WBA champion at 154 that people will respect as an opponent. And
Okay.
their trainer literally came out and said, "Hell no. Why the fuck would he
Okay,
fight him?"
I get it. I'm
Like
not
like
really. I'm not
you
really.
can't compare the two. You can't you
No, no,
honestly
I'm not.
cannot compare
I'm
the
not
two.
comparing. I think it's just a bit of comparison. It's a maybe a similarity, not the same. But what I was trying to say is, um, I'm not really too. I'm not really a Golovkin fanboy, so I'm just gonna call it how it is. But what I would say is, I think you can criticize Golovkin for not moving up. But would you say if he fights Canelo, beats him, and then fights the winner of say Saunders and Lemieux. Say Jacobs doesn't fight any of them, and say the winner of Lemieux Saunders jumps in with Golovkin, and he gets all the belts, and then he moves up. Isn't that the correct way? Because I mean, Terence Crawford only moved up, I think, to welterweight once he's got all the belts.
Yeah. Yeah, he did
So
it. He did it. And once again, the comparison, we got to be honest. Terrence Crawford got every belt within, I think, 2.5 years. Golovkin is kind of like it's slower pace, and they gave
yeah,
you
but
a lot less.
that belt was held hostage in the
And
UK
I
with
mean,
Saunders.
I wasn't big on this undisputed 140 thing. Bad division. So what? Okay, those champions that were called champions weren't champions. I think Billy Joe Saunders. I'm not saying like when I hype up Billy Joe Saunders potentially beating Golovkin, it's not because I think Billy Joe is the best in the world. I think it's because I'm not sold on Golovkin the way they tried to sell me on Golovkin. If Canelo beats him, it's not because I think Canelo is the best in the world. It's because Golovkin's kind of average. And we saw he's pretty good. But it's just not. No, a lot of people stylistically, pound for pound, will whoop him, and it just is what
But
it is.
what is your point? So you think he shouldn't move up to super middleweight
No,
now,
he can
or
do
do
what
you
he
think
wants
he should
in his
move up?
career. He could
I don't
dominate the
think
middleweight
I
division
don't
for the
think
rest of his life. For the rest of his
I
life,
don't
he could
think yeah, yeah, yeah.
middleweight.
I don't think anyone should be forced to move up. I don't think Crawford should have been forced to move up. Obviously, I
He
think,
wasn't. He
but
wasn't.
there's a bigger money fights. Thing
Crawford
welterweight.
wasn't forced to move up. Crawford sat there and he either said fight your mandatory, and the IBF told him fight a mandatory, and he said no, screw you, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather move up. He wasn't forced, like except for the organization he was the champion of. I mean, it just is what it is. You can pick up every belt, and your wins are going to be looked at and critiqued, and we're going to say, hey, is this guy better than guys they beat?
I
And
agree with you in a way. I agree with you in a way on many points. You make some good points. Like I don't think Golovkin's resume is that much better than Crawford, and Crawford's had what, like 10 or 12 less fights. So maybe that way in the weight, and Crawford's what is he? He's a two-weight champion, isn't he? But I don't think Crawford's resume is that good as well. Like his best win is Gamboa, so
All right.
I don't know.
Can we
I
move
think
on
they
from
both
this? Can we move on from
have
this? He should
holes
have
in their
fought
resume.
this guy. He should have fought that guy because it's we're going in circles here.
Can I respond to him real quick? I think Crawford's resume is a little bit is better. Like with Diaz on there, I like Diaz, I like Gamboa, but there's some things I nitpick on Crawford as well. His performance, man. You holding these smaller guys, you're getting hurt by these smaller guys.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just some of my nitpick.
No,
That's
no,
why
no.
he's not.
That's a good point because I mean Golovkin. I think maybe it's to do with age. We'll never know because he never really fought any top tier
Yeah,
guys when he was younger. But
yeah.
yeah, that is true because his two biggest fights, he did look kind of bad, and he lost. He lost like about 4 or 5 rounds to Canelo, and he lost about 3, 4, 5 or whatever 6 rounds, whatever. However, he scored that against Jacobs. So he did have two very tough fights in his like his only two. The only two names he's fought. So yeah, Crawford has beat the bar. I think the guys Crawford has fought. I don't think I know near. I don't think he's fought a Canelo or a Jacobs or anyone near. I think Canelo's level. I think the best guy he fought.
I rate Diaz over Jacob. I would rate Diaz over Jacob.
I don't really. I rate the Ricky Burns fight. I think at that time, I don't really rate Ricky Burns, but I'm saying when he went to
No,
Scotland
I don't rate
and
Burns. No, you're right.
I don't rate him as a person, but what Crawford did was to go to his backyard and do a number like that. And I think a lot of guys Burns was fighting was he was beating a lot of fighters. I think he was getting lucky, but at that stage of Crawford's career, that was something that only I think Spencer's done since.
But you're right.
To
You're
come,
right. He hasn't got a Canelo. He hasn't got.
yeah, yeah,
That's what 147's for, and that's going to be his pinnacle. That's what Crawford does here is going to be make or break to validate that 140 undisputed
yeah.
title.
So yeah,
So
let's
that's
let's
what
close this
Golovkin got
topic. But
that
I
shot.
agree.
Let's close the loop,
Hold on,
I
guys.
hold
Let's close the
on.
loop.
Golovkin got that shot to validate, and he didn't. He really just let it hang in the balance. He didn't do what he was doing. Now Crawford has to go up there and be able to win these decisions, stop these people with body shots, and we can say, yo, that was no fluke. Forget what the
I,
competition did.
I, I agree. I agree. That's a good point. I think if Crawford fights Spence and Thurman and he beats him, I'd probably put him number one. I'd put him ahead of Golovkin. But the question is, will he get those chances? Because I don't know with the Heyman and top rank situation. But I think Crawford's resume wise, if you put a couple of names on it, arguably you could say he's number one. I mean, I think the top three at the moment, people have got Lomachenko, Golovkin, and Crawford. But I think the top two, many agree, would probably be Golovkin and Crawford in terms of who they fought and uh, how many what's it called champions they fought. But I think Crawford just needs a couple of names. I think at welterweight maybe he'll get that.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, people in the chat are saying that we're going in circles. I mean, I wish we could go on forever too on this conversation because it's an interesting conversation, but we also have people listening, and I don't know if how long they want to, listen to this. But it's listen, it's a good subject.
Time to move on.
Yeah, okay, but I wanted to ask you guys before because we're almost out of time here. We also had last week we had Artur Beterbiev. Did you guys happen to see that fight? And I'll start with Hamed. What did you see the fight?
Yeah, I watched I wasn't too impressed, but what's it called? Both I thought both cards were not really good. I missed the Ramirez fight, but I think that was a good fight. But in terms of Beterbiev, I don't know if it's to do with ring rust. I think he's had a couple of years off. I think it's a bit of both. I think we'll only have to judge him going by next. But I agree, if anyone's criticizing him, they can, because the guy who was fighting was in survival mode from round 2 or 3 onwards. So he should have got him out. And Coling, whatever his name, was worse than Arias. I mean, he had no really threat. I think he even buzzed Beterbiev or caught him with a shot, but I'm not too sure with Beterbiev. I'm not fully sold. I don't think he's better than Bivol. I know he's fought better opponents, but the whole inactivity, promotional issues may have caused him to drop down a level. Because I don't know if we'll get to see how good he could have been. Because I mean, he's only had a couple of fights in about 2 or 3 years, and I think he was on a big roll when he beat Travaris Cloud and Campillo in 2015. But then from that fight on, I think he's had 1 or 2 fights, and it probably has affected his career. 'Cause he's about 32 as well. But I'd like to see them all fight each other. I think it's probably the best division in boxing at the moment. I mean, if we could get Beterbiev and maybe fighting the winner of Kovalev and Shabransky, that'll be a good matchmaking. And I think maybe Bivol fighting Sullivan Barrera would be a good fight in the next direction, along with Stevenson and Jack.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that'll be probably a good route if they can't do the WBS, and those fights should really
WBS. Oh
take
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
right direction. Yeah, I'm not too sure if that tournament will happen in the light heavyweight division.
All right, I'll
I
go
want to
to.
see a World Boxing Super Series at welterweight.
Oh, well, hold on, because I want to get the Artur Beterbiev fight out of the way. Hassan, did you see the fight, the Beterbiev fight?
No, but I saw the results of it.
Was that?
I didn't watch the fight, but I checked the highlights.
Oh, okay, yeah. He looked. He like Hamed said, he did what he had to. How about you, Lo? Please, did you watch the fight?
Yeah, that's the one I went with for the weekend as far as the undercards. And somebody made a good point. I don't know if y'all know Nauta, some people call him. He was saying that he thinks the guy's weight drained, and I kind of could agree with him because I heard some stories about him being a pretty big guy, and then he did look sluggish. Could have been certain things. I don't know. You know, I've seen him look good before, but this style of fighter, if I'm being honest, he really never fought. I did watch Colling and see if he could bring anything to the table, and the only thing that I caught was what Mark Ramsey caught. The guy doesn't drop his defense. He can move if he has the move. He can survive. You can call it that if it needs to be. You're going to have to work for the stoppage unless he just comes in and says, "Forget it. I don't feel like fighting." And he didn't come in. Well, he didn't feel like fighting. He just didn't feel like getting knocked out. That's what I should have said.
Yeah,
I don't feel like getting knocked out. And he caught a lot of punches on the gloves, the shoulders, the elbows. He did a lot of those things to make Beterbiev look rudimentary at times.
Well, here's my.
Beterbiev.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were finished.
Can I jump in? I want to.
Well, hold on.
Do you agree?
I just want to say something right because you Hamed, you and Lopley said something interesting that when a guy goes into the defensive mode like that, survival mode, it's kind of hard to look good against that. But now my question is, Beterbiev sort of was like tapping. He wasn't throwing hooks. I mean, would you guys would have liked to have seen him throwing hooks and really try to bust up his opponent's defense, or did he do the right thing?
Can I say something? Yeah, that's a good question, but I don't know if Beterbiev carried him in some of those middle or late rounds, because when he dropped him in the 12th, he knocked him out instantly. And I see one thing with Beterbiev that I don't see with Kovalev. He's I think a much better finisher. Once he gets someone hurt, he could finish him. But the thing I think that Kovalev and Bivol have got over Beterbiev, I think Kovalev, there was an interview a couple of days ago saying that Bivol and Gvozdyk are better boxers than Beterbiev. I agree. I think Beterbiev's footwork is not that. I don't know about footwork, but he doesn't cut the ring off as effectively as Bivol, and I don't think he's as fast as Bivol. Bivol, I've been very impressed with. I watched the Agnew fight the other day. That was the first time I watched it. I mean, the Broadhurst guy was a bum, so we didn't learn much. But the way he finished him, that was impressive. But Agnew, a guy who took Kovalev 7 rounds, and I think Bivol took him out in 4. And Agnew was in survival mode in the first round, and the way Bivol took him out in 4 rounds is how you how you take someone out when they're in survival mode. With Beterbiev, I think once he gets someone hurt, he knows how to finish him, but it's how he gets it. He takes a longer time to finish someone off or get him to that place where he wants to finish him off. Because I think his boxing skills is probably not even better than Kovalev.
He has to fight closer to people. He's not as long as those Kovalev.
Yeah, he's not long. Yeah,
Kovalev. But if you look at Bivol and you look at, as I say, Vazik or hell, even Shabransky, he can't keep range with any of those guys. And his foot speed is in question. He didn't get to this guy enough. I've seen what BDA saw as well, where he's tapping, and I was getting pissed.
Yeah.
Set up the guy, move the guard, step around him, do something of that sort. And he just looked completely shell shocked when he seen the guy go into a shell. And my question became, okay, what if a guy go to a shell, he catch some of your taps, and he returns fire where you're wide open? So am I sold on Beterbiev? Definitely not. But do I want to see more of him and see more active? Why not? But at the end of the day, somebody had to win a vacant belt. Sadly, they had this guy ranked, not Beterbiev, but Colling. They had him ranked second or third in the IBF or whatever to make this banana ass fight that we saw. And Beterbiev, did he impress? No, he didn't. He got a title around his waist. Now we start out the calling out. My thing is with him now, you have the lineal champion in a big fight in Canada in your sights, and instead he's suing Yvonne Michelle and not trying to force that fight. Does it really make sense to go to top rank? They don't have anybody signed at 175. What are they gonna do?
I think they got Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk is a top rank, but I think they're trying to get that fight.
What does he bring? He's not this guy's not a champion. He's not a draw. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. But Beterbiev is the champion. So why
did they? Yeah, but what did he tell the second?
Why does Beterbiev have champions and the others don't? So one sec, but I wanted to go back. That was a good point. Beterbiev's footwork, I think, is the thing, and the range is that's a very good point. He's not the biggest, that's the thing. So I'm not too sure if he might struggle against these guys. But how do you think he would have fared with Ward? Before that fight, I thought he might have beaten Ward. No. After that fight, I think only Bivol would have beaten Ward out of the current light heavyweights, apart from Stevenson. So I'm not too sure about that fight. But
I don't know.
But do you think Ward against Beterbiev would be a similar fight to the Kovalev Ward fight?
What do you think of this Elida Alvarez guy?
No,
the Colombian guy.
Wouldn't have to worry about Kovalev. Kovalev at least has foot speed and range.
Yeah.
No, he's not a long guy, but he still found a way to keep Ward at the end of his punches. But Beterbiev has never even shown to have that in his arsenal. And if you give Ward an inside fight, he's gonna dirty it up on the inside.
But I think Beterbiev is a better fighter than Kovalev on the inside. But I agree. I think Ward would keep it on the outside. I think Ward would probably beat it.
Not Broadhurst. Did you see how much this guy's fighting Colling? Okay, he wouldn't open up much, but when he did, Beterbiev's body was like laying right here. Touch me right here. He was wide open.
Yeah, Beterbiev is quite stationary. Yeah, that's true.
I don't trust it right now. I don't trust it.
Would you guys say that Beterbiev is basic, but that it's really the power that impresses people? But overall,
I think he's a bit lazy with his guard. What Low Place is saying is true. He's a bit like I think when he fought Jeff Page Jr. or whatever his name when he got dropped. He sometimes walks in straight lines like a zombie, and he could get a bit reckless. Like he kind of falls asleep. But I think some of it might be to do with his footwork, because his footwork is not that effective, and it's also his size and reach. He's not really a guy who could stay on the outside and jab and that, because he hasn't got the reach or height to stay on it. So he might have trouble with these guys, but I definitely give him a puncher's chance against Kovalev, Bivol, or Gvozdyk.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd probably say Bivol is probably at the moment, I'd say he's looked the most impressive out of the other three.
So you're saying that Beterbiev, the excuse you're giving is that he's not his size, his physicality is the excuse, right?
It's a bit of both. It's the footwork and size, and if you haven't got a good foot, if you ain't that big and you haven't got good footwork, it could be a trouble, because he does have.
So he's not that good, is what you're saying?
No. He is good at the things he does. He is quite effective at what he does, but the things the tools he hasn't got, he doesn't make it up. He's a bit lazy, and he gets a bit sloppy.
Yeah, when he had to go backwards, that was a perfect point. That the man tripped over his own feet one time, and it's just like, yo, what if these punches put you? And there's some punches at 175, and they are long punches as well. They can hit you from across the street. What if they start doing that, and you start having to break range, and they don't stop with just the one punch? They go ahead and push the range further to you, and no. He's not going to win that kind of fight. He needs somebody. He needs this kind of fight. And the thing of, like, the guy running from him and the guy that can't hurt him, he needs this. And the thing about it, he didn't look good in what he needs. So kind of got to hold that against him and wonder what's next for him. Because I actually do think the opponent needs to be on the ropes for Beterbiev. Need to be getting pushed backwards. He was bigger, stronger, younger than this guy, I believe, as well. And man, it was horrible to watch. Teddy Atlas was having to make excuse after excuse to why he couldn't get the job done.
That's what I
what you think of?
Sorry, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Elida Alvarez guy, the Colombian one.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Can I
but-
just say something? I just
But
read
hold on,
Frampton
hold on.
got dropped. in
Sorry,
the
Hamed.
sixth or
Sorry, Hamed,
seventh
because
round.
we gotta introduce because we're almost
Can
out of
we?
time.
Uh,
Cachnello just joined us after a
Yeah.
lot of work. So, Cachnello, how are you, man?
Good, thanks. I was
Sorry.
just gonna say that the Beterbiev fight, I think a lot of it too had to do with inactivity because he was out of the ring for what, a year?
Yeah,
Something
something
like
like that. Yeah.
Going on it. It's been about 8 months, I think. Going on 8 months or something like that.
We last fought in December last year, so it is about a year.
Oh.
But Nicola Ferrari in the comment section, he's saying, not basic in my opinion, because he's saying, what is basic really? Not jumping around like a rabbit, throwing pity pat punches. I understand what he's saying, but what we're saying is that he didn't seem to have a lot of ideas of what to do when a guy just covered up and wouldn't give him any openings. It seemed like he wasn't really sure of himself, and like
I'll say this: he reminds me a bit of Lucas Matisse. Maybe a bit more polished as an amateur, but I see some fundamentals that with Matisse. Maybe Matisse's footwork was a bit more polished than Beterbiev's, but they're cutting the ring off and a different type of fighters. But I see some things that Beterbiev does that I saw in Matisse when he fought Danny Garcia and when he
Right.
fought.
Oh, and by the way, how bad was Teddy Atlas? Like Lopez said, he was making excuses for Beterbiev, and that's classic Teddy Atlas, man. When he makes a pick, and then the guy that he picked to win, he starts trolling or something. He doesn't give credit to the other guy, or he refuses to criticize. He was just criticizing the other guy for not opening up, and he's saying he should go after him. It's his big shot. He's gonna regret it. It's like, Teddy, man, he's facing a humongous puncher. He's doing his best. Like, you want him to go kamikaze and get knocked out cold. He got knocked out cold anyway. I understand Teddy Atlas's point that at some point maybe you should go samurai run and go for
I
it.
muted Eddie, bro. I muted his ass.
The guy's insane, man. He's insane.
He was making kind of a point there, I mean, I don't agree 100% with Teddy, but come on. I mean, you're fighting on ESPN. Like, go ahead, man.
Yeah,
Try
but-
something. The guy was just fucking surviving. I understand.
I don't care if he was fighting in front of
No,
him. He wasn't winning.
Who Jeff
You know what I
Boyd
mean?
is defending belt against.
Like, that's ridiculous. He wasn't going to win that fight to just say, "Oh, the
No.
platform is what decides if you're going to fight heavy or not." No, he knew he was in there to be the bait, and if he could go home and tell his kids, "Man, that guy could knock me," that's
Okay, but what's next for him? What's next for him, though?
yeah, go back to this country and fight the same level he was fighting. And I mean, he knew that coming into it. This was his big day, and he decided to do it the way that most
Exactly.
people decide to do it.
That's
Yeah,
the thing.
come on, man. Like, Beterbiev had a dog in there that was fresh for the picking. Time to get knocked out. Time to stop him. No, I don't care what he does. If he come to fight, you better show him that he didn't want to come to fight. If he
Let me tell you
fight,
this.
you show
Let
him
me tell you,
he came to fight. It just was a
Gabe Rosado always loses against top opponents, but he always shows up. Look at him now. How many fights have he had always? They always call him back, and they will call him again because this guy's a fighter. And he's making mad money now. I mean, mad money. He's making money for
Mad
every
money.
Gabe Rosado-
limited skills.
Don't
Yeah,
be
but-
surprised if Canelo fights him.
As a second Agnew, you know what I mean? Somebody who just doesn't want to be an opponent. Like he may see it easier or more fun to take a beating than get a day job.
All right, I want to let
yes.
Cachnello get in a word because I mean he just got here and we're gonna leave soon. So Cachnello, I mean, you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are mentioning Rosado. I said I wouldn't be surprised if that's Canelo's next opponent. He's considering he's a Golden Boy fighter, I think. And it looks like Oscar just doesn't want to make the rematch.
No, say it ain't so, man. Say it ain't so. That's bullshit, man. If no, you know what? I think they're trying to play mind games with Golovkin. I think they're trying to get some sort of leverage, telling Golovkin, "Hey, we don't need you. We can fight Rosado." But if that's true, man, fuck De La Hoya. And also fuck De La Hoya for all of a sudden now saying that he wants to fight McGregor. I mean, for all the talk he did about Mayweather-McGregor being a joke, now all of a sudden he starts talking about fighting McGregor. Let me tell you something, De La Hoya. You haven't fought in almost 10 years.
Well, I think maybe
You've been
De La
doing
Hoya
coke.
saw all the hype he got, McGregor got with Floyd, so maybe he wants to steal some of the UFC crowd to maybe
Let me
watch
tell you
the Canelo Golovkin rematch. But I don't know. I think it's all publicity. I mean, that dude will say anything for
You know who
for
watch it? You know who watch it?
Who?
De La Hoya McGregor.
Yeah, who?
I watch it. I'd be the first one on there. I would put it on pay per view. I buy it. It's a circus that I wouldn't turn up. It ain't real boxing. Shit, a cokehead versus McGregor. Fuck it, why not? You know,
Wait
I
a
watch.
minute. You were just saying that you hated mismatches and stupid
No,
fights, but you'll pay for
but this
this?
ain't boxing. This is something else. This
Oh,
is
okay. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
This is something sick in me. They cannot turn this down.
This is like
If
a
I
Jerry.
just, if they told me, it's a family barbecue and I'm sitting in the house and they say, "Oh shit, Oscar and Connor out there at it again," I'm walking out the back door. I got to see what the hell is going on.
Okay, I get
So
what
I'm
you're
gonna
saying.
be honest. I know he's a contradiction, a dummy, a dude that snorts coke and all that. I get it, but that just might make this shit classic.
You know what?
Who knows?
I get what you're saying because we were talking about that in one of the podcast low plays about how we both enjoyed Jerry Springer. I think you're right. I think looking at it from that perspective, yeah, it's a circus, but it might just be a fun circus.
I think De La Hoya would beat the dog shit out of McGregor if he was like cracked out and drunk at the same time. I think he still outbox him.
He
Huh.
kind of gonna
He
fuck,
knocks him out.
kind of gonna fuck De La Hoya up, man. He gonna kill De La Hoya, bro.
I don't know how that would go. I really don't care. I mean, I wouldn't pay to see it, but I understand if some people.
A coked up, fish-netted dressed De La Hoya knocks out McGregor, man.
Yeah, man, come on. Okay,
Yo.
yeah.
Oh, have you seen who Jeff Horn is going to defend his title against?
Some nobody.
Against
Crawford?
Against the bump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
I
figured.
know. I even forgot his name.
What was his name? Let me just check. Gary Cochran. I don't know. Apricon. I don't know.
Man,
Fuck.
come on, man. He
They're
need
setting
to,
it.
man. He got like,
I think he's
fights
got a
in.
good chance.
Come on, man. He got Crawford next.
Yeah. But I think this guy has a chance of beating Jeff Horn because Jeff Horn is fucking shite.
I think it's pretty great how we all know who Jeff Horn is now, and everybody was kind of making fun of him before he fought Pacquiao.
Everybody but me.
Now,
I
Imagine
picked
everyone.
God, please, come on.
everybody but me.
Okay, we're not gonna get
I'm
back
not
into
joking, man.
We're
I
not
got
gonna get
laughed
back
at
into
for
that.
months and months because I said, "Yo, y'all better watch out for this Jeff Horn. He is not gonna lay down. He's not gonna run like no damn Jesse Vargas was doing. He gonna, hey, people laughed at me. I got kicked off some hangouts. I've been watching Jeff Horn since he fought a Russian by the name. He fought a Russian by the name of shit. He had like a black man's name, I believe, and he beat him down, man. He stopped the dude. Then he fought the two former champions, and he got knocked down in both fights. One was a headbutt, one was a real shot. Randall Bailey almost took his damn head off.
Yeah,
But,
that's what he told us.
but
That's what he
Can,
told us.
can I see something? One sec. What are your thoughts on? I just put on the Frampton fight. He's been down, I think, once or twice. I think he got one was scored a knockdown. But what do you think about that? What does that do? Because if he's struggling and I don't know if he's losing the fight, I'm not too sure what the scorecards or people have got it. But the guy he was fighting, I didn't think he was that good. But I think he was better than the guy he was meant to fight. The Abner Mares fought, but it looks like Frampton is getting bullied in there.
Oh, I didn't see the fight. I didn't see the fight.
well, the guy hits pretty hard. Looks like I'm looking at his box rec. He's got 24 KOs, 33 fights.
I bet
30
Have you seen him before fight? Because he's based in.
No.
I think he's based in
never
LA or somewhere.
No,
Oh,
I've
he's
never
from
seen him
Mexico
fight.
actually. Oh, you've never seen him fight, is it?
Hey guys,
Garcia, no. I bet you the way he knocked him down is Frampton dropped his hands because that's what he always does.
Was it an early knockdown?
I think in the 6th round, and he just went down last round, but that wasn't scored a knockdown. But
Uh,
low place earlier on was seen as a mismatch. He's not gonna watch. I
That was
thought
meant
it was
to
a
be.
tougher fight than. I thought it was a tougher matchup than Avalos.
Hey, it was meant to be a mismatch. If he can't handle it, that's on him. So I guess I should.
I think it's a decent matchup for a comeback. I mean, it's better than the guys Lee Selby and
Hey, what is he
Scott
coming
Quigg have been
back from?
fighting.
Hold on. What is he coming back from?
He
What-
lost his last fight, didn't he?
Yeah, but Leo Santa Cruz supposedly lost him and came back and come on, a loss alone. Like, come on, man. Where's he coming back from?
Well, do you want to see a Frampton Santa Cruz trilogy?
Nah,
Man,
we
he
don't
better
want
I'd
not
to
do
rather
see
see
that.
Frampton Selby. I'd rather see Frampton Selby.
He better not fight Leo Santa Cruz again, because that's the official third loss, not a second, because he lost the first fight, in my opinion. And that's why he got whooped even worse in the second fight. He knew he lost the first fight. And,
Whoa.
you know, he went on talking about Leo doesn't have a boxing brain, but at least Leo ain't on the canvas with Horatio Garcia.
And didn't
That's
Carl
all I'm
Frampton
saying.
get dropped against some other Mexican before on the PVC? I forgot the
Yep.
guy's name.
The one that lost his life,
Yeah,
Gonzalez,
unfortunately, yeah.
Alejandro Gonzalez, dropped him
Yes,
with jabs.
exactly. Now, guys, I want to move on because we're running out of time.
No, hooks.
What?
Hooks, excuse me.
Yeah,
He
I
dropped
wanted.
him with hooks.
Well, he got him. He got him cold though. I mean, that was like first round knockout. I mean, knockdown.
Yeah, I think it was early, but still, I mean, come on, you're getting dropped. Whose fault is that? It's like with Rigonda. When people make excuses for Rigonda getting dropped, you got dropped, man. Come on. I also
Yeah.
wanted to mention before we leave, because we're running out of time, but I wanted to talk about Josh Taylor, who we talked about last week, I believe. He took on Miguel El Titere Vasquez, who's a pretty tough guy. He makes everybody look bad. And wouldn't you believe it? Josh Taylor, like we talked about last week, a dangerous guy. We wanted to see what he had. He ended up stopping Miguel Vasquez with a body shot of all shots. You know, what do you think about that? A Mexican getting knocked out with his own fucking body shots. What did you guys think? Did you guys see the fight? What did you guys think about it?
Loved it. I loved it. I needed to see somebody rid me of Miguel Vasquez. I picked him to do that, and he done it. And I would say that Mexican don't throw the body shot. Not him. His countrymen do, but definitely not his ass. He's the worst Mexican fighter I've ever seen.
He's the most boring
Wow.
fighter ever, my Mexican fighter ever.
Yeah, and Josh Taylor, I didn't see the dust up people saw when they seen the guy land the shot. I'm like nothing was on it, and every time Taylor hit him, you saw you saw this guy just literally say, "Shit, I got to think twice about what I'm doing here." He started falling in with hugs and things like that. Taylor's impressive, man. The left hook was catching him and countering him cleanly. Oh my God, I liked it. They need to get him in a title shot soon. They need to get him there and see if he can win a title soon. He a real player at 140.
Absolutely,
It was a
man.
bit,
He
a
really.
bit early for him. He only had like 11 fights.
Nah, he's ready. He's ready. He's ready to go. If Ricky Burns can be a titleist at 140, that guy can be a titleist at 140.
I mean, 140 is a weak division. Since fucking Crawford left it. All
Oh,
the
wait.
belts are vacant now. Am I right?
But hold
A
on.
guy like Prograis, I would say hold him away from a Prograis. You know, that's one person that I think is pretty dangerous because he doesn't give a shit about who you are in the ring, and he is fast on his feet, nice hands, and he will bust your face up, like literally leak blood out your face. He's nasty. I don't think he's the greatest fighter in the world, but I think he can compete with. I think guys like Relic and Bartholomew, those could push him to the brink. I mean, shit, it's a lot of good fights there, but if Burns can be there, why the hell can't he be there?
I mean, 140 division is a proper weak right now. I mean, Terence Crawford moved up. Who do we have in there right now? We've only got fucking Victor Postol,
Lipinets is there.
Adrian Broner if he can make it.
Lippian robbed that guy the other day. Lippian totally robbed that guy. Al
God.
Heyman.
I think Adrian Broner can still make.
Lippian is gonna get took out by Broner. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna give Lippian to Broner. I think Josh Taylor can beat Broner.
Do you think Broner can
I-
even make 140 still?
Yeah, he going to more than likely if he got to.
Nah. I mean, if you look at him on Instagram, he looks big. He looks 150 plus right now, or at least 160.
If you tell him you take his money, he'll get down there.
Hey, by the way, I heard that Postol? I didn't see his last fight, but didn't people are saying that he looked bad in his last fight?
Mm.
Did anybody see Postol's last fight?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because I'm
I
hearing
didn't
that.
see it either.
No one
Okay,
cares about Postol, to be honest.
okay. I'm
Look,
looking
man,
at.
and I was
Mikey Garcia stays at 140. Mikey Garcia versus Josh Taylor could be a good fight.
Yeah, that's a good fight. I mean, I'm looking at
the junior.
Yeah, but Mikey Garcia doesn't want to fight anybody that has a chance of beating him. I mean, this guy, he ducked. He's trying to duck Linares. I saw him complain the other day in a video where he's crying about who moved up to 140. Flanagan, was it Flanagan?
I think
And
so.
I think it was him, right? He moved up, and then he was crying about how how he wanted to fight him, this and that. I'm like, dude, you got all these other fights here. Like, why don't you chase those fights? But
Well,
it's
if
come
he's
on, it's
fighting
easy
Robert
money.
Easter Jr., can you complain about that?
Nah, I like that fight, but
Robert Easter
I
Jr.
mean,
versus Josh Taylor would be a good fight at 140. But if Easter Jr. moves up,
He might get robbed versus Robert Easter Jr. I'm talking about Mikey Garcia could get robbed versus Easter Jr.
Huh? Why do you say that?
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I think Robert Easter Jr. would probably beat Mikey Garcia.
Whoa.
Nah.
No way.
I think
Well, I mean,
Potentially.
how do you see that fight going there, Hassan? I mean,
if I'm honest, Mikey Garcia looks a bit overrated. Like he's so basic. He just walks his man down. He doesn't even punch that much.
you know what?
He's
I'm gonna do
a shit
a
version.
film
He's like a
analysis.
shit version of Golovkin.
I'm gonna do a film analysis on Mikey Garcia because I think some people underrate him. They don't see flash from him, but they overlook the fact that he's very well skilled and very technical. He doesn't move his head a lot, but he blocks every punch. He parries
He
every
doesn't need
punch.
to move his head.
That's what I'm saying. So
He because he has good distance. He has sense of
Does he
distance.
have a good chin?
You come in, he backs up. It's like
Does he have a good chin?
Nah, that's the
I don't
question.
know about that.
That's the question.
That's a question.
That's
Well-
a big question people want to know. Because we seen him down before, and
Yeah.
you
He was
wouldn't
drained,
exactly
though.
call
Yeah, he was draining himself to make 126, and so
yeah, but didn't Burgos? I forget what his name was. Burgos, a Mexican who I don't think he fights anymore, but he had a brother also who fought. But I think he stunned Mikey Garcia really bad with a left hook. But that was early in the fight. So, but that's a good point, Hassan. How good is his chin?
He got dropped by the guy Lomachenko knocked out in one round.
Yeah, Roman Martinez.
dropped because,
Martinez.
But was it a jab that dropped him? I forget.
Um,
I think it was a jab.
You got me. You got me on that one.
Anyway, if anybody in the chat knows, but I think it was a jab. I don't remember. But still, Hassan, it's a good question. How good is his chin? We don't know.
I thought I remember him being wobbled as shit after that knockdown.
I think Robert
Burgos
Easter
wobbled
Jr.
him.
He can box and he's got some power. So if he keeps Mikey Garcia on the outside and boxes him, I think he'd beat him.
Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe we'll definitely keep an eye on him. So, and Josh Taylor too. Like I wanna see that the 140-pound division right now is wide open for somebody to take over. So we'll see what he can do. Okay, so guys, we gotta run. I want to thank all of you for having joined us. Any last words you want to say? Last words. Well, before we go, any parting statements or anything?
where's Jack?
Well, Jack, because
fuck him.
he's very busy at the moment, and so we're letting he couldn't do it. He's got a podcast himself. He's going to school. He's
Does anyone even join the podcast?
yeah, people
Or did
join
you
his
sit and talk
podcast. I was on there the other day.
Somebody said.
Anyway,
I was there too.
so we'll keep you guys updated. Don't forget, Low Place, he has a YouTube channel as well. We're gonna post that link in the description. Actually, can I see it now? Or Low Place, what's your channel again? It's just called Low Place, right?
Yeah, low place hashtag MLPF.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to plug?
Nope.
Oh, Hassan, by the way, Hassan, you gotta keep training, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'll send you a video. Then I have my heavy bag work.
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good hand speed you had there.
Decent. I'm improving though. I'm not that good, but I'm trying.
Well, how old are you again?
Sorry,
How old are you again?
I'm 17.
Okay, so yeah, you're still developing physically. So yeah, your speed and your power should definitely be improving as you train. Okay, I want to thank everybody else that was on the fucking chat. Dead Vibes, he was there from the beginning. I think Luis Catorce too. Nicola Ferrari as always. Cobra Kai was here too. Well, not Cobra Kai, I forget his name. Cachnello giving my fight again. Thank you for joining us. I know you were waiting in the chat for a while. I don't know why we couldn't get through to you with the messages. B-Rob, also Reverse Lee, who was in the chat. I'm just scrolling through real quick to get everybody. Dead Vibes, I already mentioned him. All right, yeah, so that's, and everybody else that commented that I can't see in the chat right now. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had. That type of shit happens every once in a while. Again, I want to thank our panelists for joining us. You guys always make it interesting. We always have interesting conversations. And at the end of the day, the best part is we move on. We move on to other subjects because boxing never ends, man. There's always gonna be interesting fights. So, and by the way, last question: anybody gonna see the Ishii Smith versus J Rock fight?
No.
It's free.
Yeah, it's
Is
free.
it Bounce
Why not?
TV or is it if it's Bounce TV?
It's Bounce.
I
It's
can't
Bounce.
watch it.
Yeah.
If it was on Fox FS1, I watch it. Just I ain't got shit else to do right now.
Yeah, exactly. Saturday night. It's cold up here in Canada where we are. So, what else are we gonna? We're not gonna go jogging right now. All right, guys. So for everybody that joined us in the chat room, Hamed too. I forgot to thank you. I think he left, but Hamed, thank you for joining us as well. All the panelists, everybody in the chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to like the chat, the podcast. That way we have a good standing and we can keep doing more of these every weekend. And I guess that's it, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Take care. Peace.
See you guys.
See ya.
Nice one, nice one.
All right, peace, man.
You